Hello, friends in the tarot world. How are you today? It's Liz from Westar Tarot, and I am here today to talk to you about a topic that is sadly becoming more and more rampant, and that is counterfeit decks. So, if you're like me, you probably swore that you would never buy a counterfeit deck because buying counterfeit decks denies the creators, the artists, the authors, and if it's not an indie deck, also the publisher of the deck, their fair share of the money from the deck. And it instead goes to unethical, dishonest folks who are in fact stealing intellectual property from the creators of the deck. And so because of that, I would just go without if I couldn't afford to buy a deck. I just wouldn't do it. So that's what I always said, and that's what I always thought. And you probably get where this is going. Yes, I recently was duped and fooled, and I inadvertently purchased a counterfeit deck. The story actually has a somewhat happy ending, which I will get to. But I just thought I'd just maybe share my experience. And so for those of you who are purposely trying not to buy counterfeit decks, you can avoid the pitfalls that befronted me. So here we see two decks. Sufi Wisdom. This is by Blue Angel Publishing, and this is by Ripoff People. I don't know if it's Wish or Alibaba or who it is, but look at the difference. This is a tuck box. This is a hard box. This does not come with a guidebook. Apparently you can download one. This does come with a guidebook. A 160-page guidebook. The creator and artist is Rasuli, and it is published by Blue Angel. So I saw a review of this deck, the Sufi Wisdom Oracle, on Oya's Girl, Queen Ossette's YouTube channel. And I thought, oh, that looks interesting. It was about a month or so ago, maybe a couple months ago, that I saw the review. And I just thought, oh man, things are so stressful between the damn election and the pandemic and whatever else was going on, that it would be nice to kind of have a soothing, comforting, spiritually uplifting deck. So I think I'm going to get that deck. So I kind of put it on my wish list. And then all of a sudden one day I was like, oh, that deck, I forgot. And so I went online to look for it. I'm trying to avoid buying things from Amazon, which is a whole nother video. And so I searched online, and I found an Etsy shop that was selling the Sufi Wisdom Oracle. Now, it was a little bit cheaper than the Barnes & Noble and so forth, but not super, not like usually Wish decks are like $8 or $9. It was $15. And I thought, oh, this must be used. Okay, great, no problem. I don't care if it's used. I'll buy it. So I bought it. So it was $15 for the deck and $5 something to ship it. Total $20.94. And this is what I got. This little guy. As soon as I saw the mailing envelope that it came in, I was like, oh shit. This is a counterfeit. I could tell by the size of the mailing envelope. So this one, the real one from Blue Angel, I got from Barnes & Noble for $24.95. So with shipping, the fake one was $20.95. The real one was $4 more. So, I mean, it's not even like I was saving much money. That doesn't matter to me. The fact is, it's a counterfeit deck, and I don't care about the cost of it. I'm not going to buy it. So once I realized that I had a counterfeit deck, I was pissed. And I went to the Etsy shop where I bought it, and I thought, screw you. You didn't even say, and I looked, and in very fine print, it said reproduction deck. Well, what does that mean? It means it's a counterfeit, apparently. I didn't do my due diligence. I just saw the deck, thought, okay, yeah, that seems good. It's probably used, no problem, and bought it. So lesson learned. And my lesson is that I need to look more closely when I'm buying a deck. I need to look at the fine print, and I need to not buy things that say reproduction deck. So I did reach out once I saw it. I reached out to the shop owner and said, "Hey, this is a fake deck. This is not something I want." And this person emailed me back right away. I was shocked and said, "Oh yeah, no worries. You can mail it back to me. Here's my address, and I'll give you your money back." So I said, "Okay, but I want my shipping too." Then I got an email back, "Never mind, I've refunded you all the money, you don't have to send it back." So I thought, okay, good. At least the deck is out of circulation. I got my money back. Okay, happy ending for me. Not a happy ending for folks who are getting counterfeited and ripped off. So I reached out to Blue Angel, sent them an email, and just said, I got this deck. I didn't realize I inadvertently bought it, and it is counterfeit. And I'm sorry, but I just wanted to let you know. And if you'd like to know the Etsy shop where I got it, I'd be happy to share that information with you. So I kind of had a back and forth with the person at Blue Angel about this, and they did in fact want the person's shop. And they reached out to Etsy and said, intellectual property theft, selling counterfeit decks, and so forth and so on. And apparently Etsy's going to deal with this shop. But the person at Blue Angel that I was talking to told me that what happens is, yeah, that shuts that shop down, but then, 10 others spring up. And apparently it really is becoming a really bad problem. I recently saw, I think it was Stephen Bright post on his Instagram. He showed a snapshot of a deck on Amazon, and there was one real one and 5 fake ones. So what do we need to do? We need to not buy these things, because that's why they make them. They're making money. So if we don't buy these decks, then they won't make money, and hopefully they'll stop doing it, or at least folks, the fewer of us who buy these decks, the less money they make, and the more of us who buy them from the creators. You can go directly to the publisher itself, or if it's an indie deck, of course, right to the creator themselves. So here's a few things that I thought I would give you. First of all, read the post. I did not. I was guilty of that. I just said, oh yeah, sounds good. Boop. Now, if it had been $8, I would have thought, oh, that's a counterfeit deck. But because it was $15, I just thought it was used, or I didn't think it was counterfeit. But if I had read the whole post, I would have seen the little print that said reproduction deck, aka counterfeit rip-off deck. So my bad on that. So here's the back. You see this? It's a QC code, and Blue Angel and other mainstream publishers do not put those on the backs of their boxes of their decks. It's for downloading the guidebook. And so what these folks do who rip off the decks is they scan in the guidebook and then make a PDF of it. And of course, it's cheap. They don't have to pay anything. When you buy the deck, you get this little code, you scan it in, and then you can download the guidebook. Whereas with a regular, legitimate deck, you get an actual guidebook. I wanted to show you also the difference in the size of the cards. I'll just do one here. So this is your typical Blue Angel, Rockpool Publishing, etc. Oracle. This is like a poker size card. The cardstock, oh, this is like really bad. This is normal. And then, as I said, the mainstream legitimate publishers and indie decks come mostly with guidebooks, and that's included with the deck. The guidebooks do not come in PDF format. I know there are a few indie creators who do that. They have a PDF, but in most cases, you get a downloadable. You get a real hard copy, and you don't ever see this. So that's a dead giveaway. And if you look at the price and you think, that's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true, and it's probably a counterfeit deck. Pirated decks are often described as divination games or playing board games. Oftentimes the description doesn't match the product description. So like if you go to US Games or Blue Angel or Hay House or whomever, and you look at how they describe the deck, and then you look at these pirated decks, they don't match. Oftentimes there are spelling errors in the product description, and the seller's name, company name, and contact details or location is usually unclear. So due diligence is required of us if we are to avoid buying knockoff decks, pirated decks, stolen intellectual property. I buy tarot decks. I have more tarot decks than I probably need or can use in a short amount of time or even in a year. And I buy them because I want to support, in particular, indie creators. I want to support art. I want to support intellectual ideas and, creativity. That's why I buy them. And if we buy decks from Alibaba or Wish or these Etsy shops, apparently this person, because they paid probably $8 or $7.50 for the deck, but then they turn around and sell it for $15, they're making the old 50% markup, right? And so people are doing that online and also in Amazon. So we can't just think, oh, it's Amazon or whatever, it's okay, because stinking Amazon allows counterfeit decks to be sold by third-party sellers. So that's not a clear prevention method either. So here's what I learned. I learned to be careful, to not be cavalier, to read the fine print, and to really think twice about buying a deck from an Etsy shop, and to really go right to the creator or to the publisher. I haven't heard of Barnes & Noble selling pirated decks, so I'm not sure about them. You may be safe with them, but I do know that there are decks on Amazon that are pirated, so that's no guarantee. And as I said, I'm trying not to buy as much stuff from Amazon anyway, because they suck too in terms of ethics and so forth. So yeah, I know, lots to think about, right? So the other thing I wanted to mention, and I was going to hold the cards up, but I don't think the camera is going to pick it up. Let's see here. Oops. There's a real difference in the quality of the color and the clarity of the color. So this is the Balanced Life from the real deck, and this is from the fake deck. And I don't know if you can see, but this is very muddy, and the colors are nowhere near as vibrant. And of course it's smaller. But there really is, some of the cards it was more noticeable than others, but that's another reason too. So you're getting a poorer quality of cardstock, of color, clarity, and so forth. So really, it's an ethical choice, right? Do we want to support um, folks who steal intellectual property, pirate decks, or do we not? And I personally don't, and I think most of us don't. So just be careful, um, read the fine print, and do a little research before you hit click on purchase. So I'd love to hear in the comments if any of you have had experiences with inadvertently purchasing pirated decks, stolen intellectual property, and what your thoughts are on what we can do about not doing that and preventing it from happening. And can we spread the word? I notice in a lot of online tarot groups that there's a lot of brand new people, more and more brand new people coming into the tarot fold. And so I'm sure a lot of these newbies have no idea that an $8 deck from Wish is counterfeit. So I guess we really need to spread the word so that folks won't inadvertently purchase these kinds of decks. So share any stories you might have with me in the comments below, or on your sites, or on Instagram, Facebook groups, and YouTube. So happy trails, and don't buy counterfeit decks.